I don't know what's going on there, but something wasn't working right. Hello and welcome to Star Trek Europa. I am your host, Jeff Harvey, and hopefully this will be a good show. We were off last week due to various sundries, mostly the fact that I had school and everything else, and we may be off more shortly because, again, it's finals week, and I don't know what I'm going to do with my life.
And holidays.
And holidays, and you know, it's that time of year.
Mm-hmm.
You can follow this show and everything that I do on Studio at Studio Tembo. There's a link in the notes. There's a link in the chat as well. Starting next episode, we're going to be doing a challenge here on the channel, Twitch challenge, where you can click the buttons and do the things. And if we reach that goal, then Star Trek Continuing Conversations will do a live Q&A on our channel here with Michael Dismuke, Jim Johnson. I don't know why I kept wanting to say Jim Harbaugh, but that's football.
A really difficult name to remember.
Yeah, really. There's been a lot of Michigan football talk lately, and Jim Harbaugh comes up a lot. So, Jim Johnson, Mike Dismuke, myself, and some special guests that I will not announce until we know more. But that'll be a live show we're going to do on the channel if we reach our stretch goal or our goal for the challenge. So look out for that. There'll be other challenges as well, including a giveaway for tricorder box set, as well as another giveaway for the Klingon Core Rulebook Special Edition cover, which is now pretty much out of print. So those are all things we're gonna do on this channel. So please engage in our chats and watch the show and spread the word and tell everybody all the things. But for today, let's go ahead and do some introductions. Let's start with whoever at the top of my page is. Brian, go ahead.
My name is Brian. I am playing Ensign Yezbeth Hage, amongst others. The only thing I have to plug is my cat. Yep, that's it.
All right. Evelyn.
Hey, I'm Ev. You can find me on TikTok at Caffeinatrix with 2 X's. You can also find me every other Sunday on the St. Pete by Night server on Twitch. And I am playing Dr. Desave Oneat. I will probably mostly be playing Lieutenant Fiona Mills.
All right, Kendall.
Hi, I'm Kendall. You can find me at Kendall the Elemental on TikTok, and I will be playing Tana Sewell, as well as a few other characters.
Cool. And Jack.
Yes, hello, I am Jack. I am the one who speaks all of the words, and I have even more words tonight because I am in the process of transitioning my branding away from the People's Ascension and more appropriately to RPGs Uncovered. It's been a series I've been running for quite a while, and I think it better represents what I do as a whole on my channel. So you can now find me. It's the same channel, same statistics, same followers. If you've already been following me, you're already there. But if you want to see more of what I do, you can follow me on twitch.tv/RPGs Uncovered. I'm over on Twitter at RPGs Uncovered. I got a Hive. Apparently I have an Instagram. I have Facebook. At some point I made all of these social medias that don't get nearly as updated as Twitter, but we'll see about that. I do cool stuff. The main thing I do is a series, RPGs Uncovered, dedicated to showing just how quick and easy it is to learn a new TTRPG. We are getting ready for season 4 of that, featuring a game called Cyber Rats, which is basically Shadowrun meets the XCOM video games without all the annoying crunch and frustration that you have to deal with that. It's a really great looking show, a really great looking game that I hope to put on a great show about and teach it to you guys, because it's going to be really great. That is scheduled to start up early January, sometime first or second week. I'm getting the schedule worked out right now, so stay tuned. Learn more about it on Twitter. I also have a Discord. I'm sure Jeff has links going all over the place somewhere. You can also find me Mondays over on twitch.tv/Tales from the Table with my good friend, the Lion Knight 42, in which he runs an SCP game, Secure, Control, Protect. It is a great game. I'm running off the high of that from last night. Great game in which I play Agent Hevered Hart, who is too much to get into right now. If you like SCP-related things, if you like the Paranatural, go check that out. That is every Mondays at 8 p.m. EST. But for tonight, I am excited to play some Star Trek, and I will be mostly playing our Captain Ronnie Ambrose on a mission to storm Bowser's castle and save the princess.
For those of you watching on Twitch, I think we are freezing constantly, so I don't know what the deal there is because I'm not seeing anything on my end that's wrong. So hopefully this is going good. Otherwise, you'll have to catch the replay. So let's go ahead and do a recap while I'm trying to figure out this problem.
All right. I will take it away with that this week. Knowing that we've been down for a couple weeks, so I am refreshing myself, the fellow players, as much as the audience. So, over the last few episodes, previously on Star Trek Europa, this has been a long-standing building confrontation between a number of different factions. Sila's forces in the Romulan Star Empire, a newly formed Romulan resistance, possibly headed by Admiral Mendek and his circle of people. The Federation, the Klingons, there might even be some Section 31 stuff going on. We don't know. But in general, Toshari, a subcommander that we saw in the early stages of Season 1 and later in Season 1, throughout Season 1, has been missing for quite a while. We recently learned that she is the granddaughter of the
Creator.
I always have to remember difference between proconsul and praetor. She is the granddaughter of the praetor and Sila, and has been captured by Sila and held in a Romulan prison for some time. And Sila and her forces are in the process of moving Toshari someplace else so they can enact some dastardly plan in order to force the praetor into subservience to Sila as the new proconsul and prospective leader of the Romulan Star Empire. Obviously, we don't want that to work. So the Europa was fortunate enough to meet with another Romulan commander, and I believe that was Commander Taven, right?
Taven, I believe, yeah.
Taven. Yes, we met with a Commander Taven after dealing with a little bit of a pack-led situation that was simply a ruse to get us out in the open so that Taven could contact us. He handed over 2 different data pads, one to go to Admiral Mendek and one for Ambrose himself. The science team and all of our fantastic crew got together and decrypted Mendek's pad, and we found that it contained the location, routes, and most importantly, access codes, prefix access codes for a Romulan fleet that Mendek was encouraged to head over there and assume command. So we're in the process of giving him that information, and the other pad Ambrose decrypted himself using the mathematical and musical guidelines of a Romulan nursery rhyme that has been popping up in his dreams every now and then, somehow linking him and Toshari together. And that had information on all of the ships and the travel plans for those ships, which held Toshari and are taking her to wherever this is going. So we have been putting together a plan to cut them off and to rescue Toshari. Meanwhile, there has been a few different internal, interpersonal ship-based dramas. We have finally seen some sort of resolution, or at least acknowledgement of the long dreaded Jisa versus Kendall, the character Kendall, not the player Kendall. Jisa versus Kendall incident, in which Kendall was being an insubordinate jerk, and Jisa shot her like she was right to do. I play Jisa. I'm obviously biased. So Jisa had a talking down by our fantastic new EXO, who happens to also be a counselor, and I'm sure that will come up repeatedly in the future. And our last episode, partial episode, mostly dealt with that and hearing Jisa's side of the story, which is drastically different, I think, from Kendall's side of the story, and both very true. So I look forward to seeing how that plays out. Because it's been a while, that's what I got. Does anyone have anything else to add? I know I've recapped kind of the whole arc here briefly.
I don't have anything else. I think I did fix the video problem, so hopefully that will correct itself shortly. It was the
Cool.
apparently low latency was set on turned on. It's not it doesn't like that. So
All right.
let's see if that works. But I don't have anything else. Anybody else have anything else I wanted to add to that recap? Evelyn, you're the one who normally takes notes and has recaps, but I don't imagine you have anything.
I believe that covers it, but that's 3 weeks, and I don't remember yesterday.
Okay.
We have a prefix code. Did we talk about that?
The what?
No, but that's information going to Mendek. So
Yes.
So with that, let's go ahead and start our first scene let's go ahead and start on the station 234 with Ambrose at least, and anybody else that wants to go is welcome too. We're going to be talking with Mendek. I'm not sure what else Ambrose would bring, but giving Mendek his informations, and I lost where Mendek is at. So Mendek is in the room as well. So
this is some pretty high level stuff, right? Like, is there an admiral there as well?
Probably
Or
not
is
probably not in the room. It'd probably be Starfleet security would be there.
yeah. Is this an official meeting, or is this Ambrose just stopping by?
Which would you like it to be?
I don't know how.
It
Does Starfleet know about our plan to do this? Because this sounds a little renegade to me.
Probably not yet, because that's
Okay.
a scene we're going to do later.
Yeah. Well, Ambrose being a captain of a starship, the main starship out in this region of space, and responsible for bringing Mendek in, I think he would go through the proper channels to see Mendek, but it wouldn't be, let's get an admiral involved, let's
Sure.
have this all recorded and whatnot. I think this is more a, just stopping by
Right.
kind of visit.
Do you want anyone else to be there?
I think Ambrose would initially have the idea to do this alone. Does anyone want to be in the scene? I'm sure we can find a way to make that work.
Okay. No.
Okay.
All right. So
Spotlight hogging it is.
spotlight hogging. All right. So it's been a lot of one-on-one for you and me today, Jack. So
What I'm afraid of.
right. So Mendek is in his cell. The security officers are in the room. They're not uncomfortable with you being there, but they certainly, the chief security officer for the section isn't super thrilled with the idea that a captain is coming by. Yeah, it was, pre-planned and you went through all the right channels, but like, this is my prisoner. Get out of my room. I want to interrogate this man, but then again, he's also a guest of ours. So Mendek is not actually being held in custody. He is and he isn't being held in custody. I should say that until his debriefing is complete and Starfleet decides what to do with him. He is technically in custody, but not
Protective custody.
Protective
not
custody.
jailed custody.
Correct. Yeah. So
For all that distinction matters to a Romulan.
right. He is in his cell. He is wearing what is as closely replicated just to, nice Romulan clothes as the Federation is able to do. And he's sitting on the chair, sitting on the bed, kind of watching as you come in. Captain Ambrose, I was wondering if you'd come and see me.
Yes, I was interested to see how you were doing, and I was happy to take you up on your invitation to talk about Romulan, the state of Romulan affairs and the intricacies of Romulan politics. A social call.
I see.
Lieutenants, you're dismissed.
They kind of look at each other and they hesitate for a second, and then after glancing back and forth, they both exit the room. Door slides shut behind them. Mendek kind of watches them like a cat watches a bird outside a window. And then turns, once the door closes, he turns back to look at you and gets that calculated Romulan smile. Let us talk.
Admiral, I have a gift for you. Pull out the pad. A mutual friend of ours asked me to deliver this.
You get a sense pretty quickly of skepticism. And he, without hesitation, a mutual friend.
A new mutual friend.
I see.
Before you ask, yes, we did look at it. I'm sure
have,
you would expect nothing less.
I would have expected nothing less.
I think you will be pleased to see what is in this pad, and I hope you can understand the importance of it and how it benefits everyone involved.
He looks at the four corners of his energized cell, again, protective custody.
Yeah, I know there's cameras, but
yeah, well, he's looking at the corners, like where the emitters would be. It's like, difficult to read and hear. Perhaps.
Well, I'm...
Go ahead.
As I'm sure you know, this protective custody has been mostly for your benefit, having been recently rescued by a hostile force. I believe any of the formalities and precautions that need to be taken have been taken care of, and I will be pushing for getting you on your way shortly, because I know you have very important things to take care of. Right. Do a quick eye flash down to the tablet and back up to him.
Yeah, you get the sensation of understanding pretty quickly. Mendek seems to be picking up what you're putting down.
I'm being very careful not to say anything too overt or incriminating for myself or him.
Right. I appreciate your confidence in me, Captain. I look forward to an opportunity to repay this, and he gestures around you, kindness.
I would hope so. If everything goes according to plan. If everything goes well, he would say, for the future of everybody involved. Hopefully our next meeting would not be in such confined areas, and that we can more enjoyably engage with each other.
I look forward to it, Captain. I wish you luck on your next journey, wherever it may take you. Jolan True, Commander Ambrose. Captain Ambrose.
Jolan True, Admiral.
All right. Seems like a good place to stop. All right. We are back with that. Go ahead and do our captain's log.
All right. Once again, we see Captain Ambrose in his quarters, lights down a bit dim, legs kicked up on the futuristic space sofa, and he has a glass of something dark. He's looking at the window with a tablet. Captain's log, supplemental. Subcommander Toshari, former liaison to the Federation at Narendra Station, is being held by the Tal Priex, personal guard of the acting praetor of the Romulan Star Empire, Proconsul Sela, and the former head of the now disgraced, mostly defunct, Tau Shiar. We understand that she is a pivotal instrument in Sela's plans. And while we do not know much detail about what that is, we know it can't be anything good. Not for the Romulans, and certainly not for the Federation, or for peace in the Alpha and Beta quadrants. I have a strange, admittedly not fully understood connection with Toshuri, and an obligation to try and free her before Sela can consolidate her power even further. Not just for her, or even for continued peace, but I feel like there is something greater we don't yet understand. Computer erased last sentence. We know where they are going. I plan to stop them. End log.
All right. For those of you who missed it, last session we did some discussion about what we're going to do. We will recap things here in this session as well. But before we do that, let's go ahead and go to engineering. Who is going to be working on this probe creation, this Tachyon Net creation project? I assume Tong, or the chief engineer, whose name I just completely forgot, Kostra. Or you possibly do Eziabeth. It's up to you which one you want to use.
I think Yesbeth is a better candidate. Kostra is more of an engine guy.
I like Tong and Yesbeth.
All right. Does anybody else want to be involved in the engineering section? We will do a science one shortly as well. But
Does Kendall have a good character for this?
I have two actually.
Mm-hmm.
all right.
I have my ensign who talks a lot, and my lieutenant who is blunt and good at words.
We haven't seen much of Ensign
Amathi.
Amathi, so let's go ahead and do that. That'll work. Because I think
He's a
Tana.
geologist.
Yeah, no, that'll work.
Does that help with tachyon fields?
It would help with the overcoming the asteroids and other spatial anomaly in the region.
I was thinking Tana actually being an engineer might make more sense, but I'm fine
Oh.
either way.
Either way.
They're both in engineering.
Oh, are they? Amathi is listed in science
Oh,
on our
sorry.
spreadsheet.
I can read, I promise.
Oh, I have them
I
both
think
in
they're
science.
Either way is fine for me.
Let's move this one to engineering. Let's go ahead and do Tana first, and then we'll have Amathi help with the other system, the other setup. So does Ev have a character she wants in on the engineering stuff?
No, I think my closest would be O'Connor, and she's more on the science than engineering side of things.
Right. All right. So the three of you are working. Yesabeth, Tong, and Lieutenant Tana are working on the probe system. So go ahead and you guys can have a little bit of role play, and then we'll throw out a roll. So you're trying to create the tachyon network that was suggested by, I think, Silva, or something similar to what was brought up by Silva. So
Okay. Okay. Yes, Beth. Run that by me one more time because I think you have a good grasp on this. Attacking on net is normally something that requires a whole fleet of ships to do, and we gotta move this down into like half a dozen probes. So what are you thinking?
Well, quantum miniaturization. If they are networked with each other, they can interact with each other. Now, admittedly, it means that as they explode, and they might lose power, but hopefully by then we'll have what we need.
I mean, after they explode, they don't need too much power.
Yeah, but I meant the network as a whole.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, our plan is to blow them up after the net has pretty much done its job, right? I think that's what we're doing.
Well, I think it's safe to say the Romulans aren't going to take these things lying down.
Yeah, that's yeah. Okay. Miniaturize the emitter, put them in a bunch of probes. We need to attach a bomb to it somehow, and then spread them out. Probably want to link them together. You know, in DS9, what was the name of that engineer?
O'Brien?
Rom. No,
Rom.
well, I think it was Rom actually, but O'Brien usually gets all the credit anyway. Yes, with the self-replicating mines that they used, I think the same communications technology could be adapted to help synchronize all of these buoys. Lieutenant Tana, does that sound right to you? Can we do that?
Yes, that could work. That could definitely work. At least from what I remember reading about when they happened.
Right. Not sure if I was supposed to know that. I could get you the specs.
Thanks. That raises more questions, but thanks.
All right, let's go ahead and do a roll. Some sort of engineering thing. You guys can decide who wants to lead. Let me pull out a sheet real quick here so I can see what we want to do this with. Let's do it with. That's the wrong color. That's the wrong sheet altogether. Let's go ahead and do either control or reason and engineering for the primary role. And then for the secondary role, let's do the other control or reason and security.
I think it makes sense for Tana to do the support. Do we want Yesbeth or Tong to take the lead here? I mean, we're all going to be working, but you can only have one supporting assistant.
You said security. I'm not particularly good at security.
No, engineering.
Oh, okay.
If I said security, I didn't mean to. I meant to say either controlled and either control or reason and engineering.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah, I can do either. Yesbeth will go ahead and start if it doesn't really matter.
Sure.
So Yesbeth will bring up a hologram to lay out plans, basic electronic miniaturization. She'll leave the parts for the others to fit their expertise. But she'll lay out the initial plans on holographic blueprints.
Yeah, Tong's laying out all the EPS conduits in these little buoys and tying them together so that the probe itself, with all the power flowing through it in that specific configuration, if contact is made in a particular way, the whole thing just turns into a bomb.
Right. All right. So with all three of you, I'll say the difficulty is going to be 3. You have advantage with Tong doing all the EPS stuff. So that means difficulty is going to be 2 between the two of you. So it should be pretty easy. You do have a bunch of momentum from the last session. So we don't need a ton of it, but we have a bunch. So
I'll go ahead and use 1.
Right.
Don't think I have any focuses that would apply. Is this an extended task or a normal task?
A normal task.
Okay.
I would do an extended task, but just for the sake of expediency.
Sure. Well, I get bonuses on extended tasks, so I had to ask.
Right.
So Sorry, go ahead.
That is 2. Does the ship assist on this as well?
Yes, go ahead, and someone can roll that.
Roll the ship.
Yeah.
What's Tana rolling?
Donna's rolling control and engineering. I was wondering if one of my focuses would play in because I got to focus on computers and cybernetics.
Probably not in this case. Sorry,
Okay, neither of them.
computers might. I could probably go. I can see computers doing it.
All right, so does focus add another dice or?
No, anything that you roll under your skill will count as 2 successes, which the thing will automatically figure for you.
As long as you have the focus used
Right.
highlighted.
Oh, button.
Mhm.
So I'm rolling 2 and focus used. Okay.
Did somebody already roll for the ship?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, cool.
Another 2.
All right. So the ship got nothing
Got a
and a
complication.
complication, which
Yummy.
I will mark that on my sheet because that comes into play later.
That-
And that's 4 successes. Difficulty with advantage was 2. So you succeed and get 2 momentum, of which you only have 1 at the moment. You can spend I think you can spend 2 momentum to overcome a complication. Since you don't know what the complication is, you could just kind of like preemptively.
yeah, that's a good point. I think I will do that. Yeah, I think that is a use.
Wimp.
Look, if you get a complication on your turn, you can keep it.
All right. It was your roll.
So I will spend 2 momentum to do that.
Okay.
You know what? Actually, I don't think that is on the list. If you say I can, but I don't see it on the.
I can't get my
list.
sheet to open, so if it's not on there, then
it's remove complication. Yeah, under momentum on the cheat sheet at least. 2 momentum to remove a complication.
Okay, must be in another book or something. Okay, yeah, I'll remove it.
Okay. So I will do that way. Okay. So you have while you're working, Yezabeth, you see that in Tong's not zealousness, but his eagerness to get everything set up, he
Hyper focused on bomb making.
Yeah, hyper focused on bomb making. He slightly did some math slightly wrong, and you caught his mistake, which would have caused the radius of the explosion to be too great and disperse the tachyons over too great of an area if they had exploded the way he had them laid out. So you managed to adjust for that, thus being able to keep a tighter pattern of tachyons.
Right. Don't want to blow up the whole nebula. That'd probably be bad. I got a little carried away with the whole exploding thing.
No problem. We should just be glad we didn't let Koba in, or else we'd really be in trouble.
All right. Anybody else going
You
to
see
get?
your explosions one?
Yeah.
Always good to have one of those.
All right. We want anything else out of that scene?
No.
All right. Let's move to the science then. On the science side, the ship will be able to assist again. The idea here is to essentially set everything up, set your sensors and things up so that you guys have some sort of advantage once the tachyon explosion happens. It won't blind your sensors as much. So that's kind of where you're going with the science here. You're kind of adjusting your sensors to be able to accommodate the situation you're going to be in. So the harshness of the nebula and the explosion of the tachyons and all that stuff. So who do you want? Obviously O'Connor is here, as is Amathi. Does anyone else want to join this one? I'm not sure there's really anybody else that is set up for that, but all right. So the two of you can have a moment of conversation, and then we'll get to your role.
Hi. So we're working on the asteroids, right? Right.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm pretty good and decent at astrophysics, but point me in a direction and I can go. I can go.
Um.
Ev needs
I
attack by
think.
battle chart.
Where is the chart?
Um, as you're in the room,
My dog.
Eva comes online, and I've begun the calculations for the optimal escape vector through the nebula. We will need to
Okay.
calibrate the deflector shields by a variance of 0.317.
Okay. That should be easy enough. Um. If we divert power from
Ev, you
Hmm?
we can't hear you.
You might
At
be
all,
you might be cutting out.
Yeah.
So where are we diverting power from?
It seems to be working now.
apparently my mic.
It's one of those days, microphone troubles.
Oh, now
Communications got it.
Right. Yes. No one needs to talk during that. It's fine. Everybody can sigh.
Right, so you're diverting. Go ahead.
I think if we divert the power from the replicators during that time, that should be fine. Theoretically, they won't be replicating while we're escaping.
All right. Hopefully no one needs a new pair of pants while we're doing this.
Right. Okay. Go ahead and make a science roll. Let's say the lead technician can do, let's say, control or reason also. And science or con. Either of those would work. I don't think anyone's going to choose con. And then obviously the secondary can choose something along those lines as well.
So reason and science.
Yep, that'll work.
Okay. And since this involves asteroids, can I use astrophysics?
Yes.
Cool.
You can use astrophysics anyways, because astrophysics is the physics of
Yes.
space.
Yes,
Asteroid
that is the
physics.
focus.
Yes.
I will let you take lead on this since I am not an astrophysics, and I will assist.
All right. So Evelyn, you can use control and science since Kendall's using reason and science.
All right. And can I use a momentum?
Sure. And the ship also assists if anyone wants to roll the ship.
All right. And what is the complication again? Do I put a
Normal complication
complication
range.
range?
Yep. Normal complication range. Whatever. You don't have to change that on yours. So
Okay. It is 3.
Sensors and science for the ship.
yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes. That is so many successes. You'll get back your momentum. The difficulty was 2, obviously, so that is easy enough. You've maxed out your momentum. You've maxed out your momentum again. And you have a couple to spend if you want to spend them on anything in the sheet. There is not a whole lot you can spend it on at the moment, though. So pretty much just going to go away.
We could create an additional advantage with
You-
2 momentum.
You could.
Mhm.
Do you want to do that? Create an additional advantage.
Sounds good.
All right.
Maybe pinpoint accuracy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that will be a +1 advantage to your escape route. That will apply to anything that can access Eva's systems. So since it's in Eva's thing, I'll qualify that because the ship is not the only thing that can access Eva systems. All right. Anything else you guys want to get from that scene? Or wrap up your roleplay on that one?
So, we got it? What else needs to be done? He's kind of bouncing on his toes.
I think I think that should be good. Just need to monitor, make sure that everything is where they should be. We don't have any dips or surges in power. Ooh, that could be bad.
My ability to
Okey-dokey.
maintain to maintain the shield harmonics of the deflector systems during our time in the nebula will be difficult. Assistance, manual control assistance in the deflector rooms, deflector system room may be required.
We can do that.
Yes. We can do that.
I feel like I need to just point a laser on the floor. And all right. Anything else out of that scene anybody wants? All right. That brings us to the next one on our list, which is contact. Before you head out, you may want to inform Starfleet what you're doing and talk with anyone else you want to talk with. Ambrose. Informing the Admiralty that you may be doing something, or Worf, or whoever you wanted to talk to.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk to Worf. I'll call Aralani when we're almost there.
Okay. Just send him a text message. It's fine. He'll see it when he gets it.
BT Dubs assaulting Sila's forces.
By the way, turning my phone off. Bye.
New phone. Who dis? All right. So you reach out to Worf, Ambassador Worf. Are you doing this on the bridge, or are you going to go in your captain's in the ready room, or your quarters, or where do you want to talk to Worf at?
So Worf has already left the
Yes.
station.
Yep.
He's okay.
Yeah, he's on his way to Kronos. So
yeah.
Or to wherever Martok is.
Right. No, I'm gonna do this in the ready room, and I will offer again. Does anyone else have any pressing reason to be included in this?
Okay.
Yeah. I will be alone in my ready room with privacy mode engaged.
Right. A few minutes goes by, and Worf's image comes on the screen. You have a secure channel. Commander Ambrose. I have a terrible Worf voice.
Ambassador
Captain
Worf.
Ambrose. I don't know why I keep saying Commander, but anyway, Captain Ambrose.
It's good to see you are doing well. Is your journey back to the Klingon Empire going smoothly for you?
It is going well. I have had time to speak with Martok, and we have discussed the situation in which we find ourselves.
I'm sure that situation involves some sort of recompense for your incarceration.
He kind of gets a little toothy grin.
I'm sure I don't.
Go ahead.
I'm sure I don't need to impress upon you, Ambassador, with your experience in Starfleet, how important it is that a Klingon response to this need to be exact and coordinated.
Agreed. However, at the moment, the most pressing matter is regaining control of Kronos. Vengeance.
Yes.
Vengeance can wait. Which is
That is good to
unfortunately
hear.
exactly how Worf thinks.
That is surprisingly comforting to hear. I do, however, have another issue at hand that may be just as important as properly securing Kronos again, and may in fact make that task easier. I'm not sure how much you were informed about the recent activity of the Europa and our own interactions with the Romulans, but we have uncovered a plot by Proconsul Sela to very much solidify her control over the Romulan Star Empire, and that involves a fellow prisoner that was held in a similar facility as yours, who is currently being moved. We are
Scheming
formulating
Romulans.
plans, yes, but just as much we need. With that, we find ourselves in the need to scheme against that.
What do you
I'm sure you
suggest?
can. I'm sure you can understand that Sela fulfilling whatever her plan is would not be in the best interest of anyone, Starfleet, Klingons, even the greater Romulan Star Empire.
Sela solidifying her power would be a threat to both the Alpha and Beta Quadrant.
Yes. To that note, in deference to your position, Ambassador, I won't go into too much detail, but the Europa will be seeing to that issue, and that may take us within a currently politically tenuous area, proximity to Romulan space. We will be looking into the matter of this prisoner and doing what we can to ensure that peace in the Alpha and Beta Quadrant is maintained. To that note, it could be helpful if our friends among the Klingon forces were able to keep an eye on the area and lend support if needed.
Provide me what information you can, and I will see to what I can do.
I will send over a secure data pack with whatever helpful information we can pass along.
The Chancellor wishes to extend his gratitude for your continued support of the Empire. As do I.
I appreciate that, Admiral, and pass that on to your Chancellor. Perhaps when this is all over, we can meet in a much better circumstance. However, I'm sure you understand I am simply doing my duty to Starfleet, the Federation, and to galactic peace. We don't need another war.
Agreed. Wharf out. So you're sent over a packet.
Yep.
Under secure conditions.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Does anybody else have anything they want to do? I need to take a quick break if we don't. Maybe a couple minutes, but I can wait if anyone else has any other scenes they want to get to right now.
We got to have that Ambrose Yesbeth scene whenever that fits in.
Yes, I have that scheduled.
Okay. Well,
So
then we can do that later.
Actually, this would be a good time for it because the other thing I have is I have a section where Ambrose is like in his quarters or walking around the ship and like doing that last walk through before a battle situation. That's what I was thinking that could happen. But if you guys want to do it right now, that would also work, and we can put something else in that other spot.
Wherever fits best. I've had plenty of talking, so if anyone has any other scenes, please.
Let's go ahead and do the Elizabeth and Ambrose thing now, and then I'll take my break in a few seconds and when that scene is over. So.
Okay. So if this is like a preparing for the battle scene, I know we talked a little bit about where it would be earlier, but I think maybe it's more appropriate if it's on a duty station, or unless he calls her specifically to like the observation lounge.
Yeah, it could be wherever you guys want to do. You guys are still at the starbase at the moment, so you can do however you want to do.
Yeah, I was hoping this to be something off duty, and I want Yesbeth to be in a comfortable position where Ambrose is not talking as the captain down to a subordinate.
Sure. So, where do you think that would be?
Do you think Yesbeth would spend time in the hall lounges, or would she be? Would Elizabeth go to the officers' mess or something like that, or
You have a
11
personal
11 aft,
project
or
that you're working on?
yeah,
I would,
I'd avoid 11 aft, but
yeah, that's fine.
yeah.
someplace
How
quieter.
about there's an observation lounge in the the front in the front of the ship, like below the saucer section,
Sure.
where uh, it's not normally combat capable or combat situated, but it's got seating area, and I think Yezebeth would head there just to be alone. Maybe having worked with people for a bit, I think it feels like being alone with her thoughts, all 5 of them.
Yep.
So
Yeah, and Ambrose is doing that sort of tour of the ship before what he assumes is going to be a whole big thing that really could put the ship in danger, and he knows that. So I think this is the beginning of him going through the halls, going department to department, just looking around at the ship, taking it in. Um, Not overtly reassuring crew members, but just stopping by, seeing how things are doing. A little slice of the captain's life outside of the bridge in his ready room, his quarters. Um, and that will, and obviously that takes a while, so we can jump back to that later if it comes up. But he'll make his way down to that area, that small observation window.
so Yezebeth is like
And
sitting on in the seats, like biting her nails, I think. And then she notices the captain entered, and she'll immediately shoot up, stand at attention.
at ease, Ensign.
She'll
I don't wish to disturb you.
no, you didn't disturb me at all. This is your ship. If anything, I'm disturbing you if you think about it.
It's all of our ships. It's the cruise ship. I'm just at the helm. Well, not the helm, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
One of the best views in the house here. Not many appreciate it.
Yeah, it's it's uh, it's a it's a nice quiet place on the ship, away from the engines. Uh, uh, nice view. Do you come here a lot?
Not as much anymore. Used to when we first got the ship, back when I was still first officer. Had a little bit more time with my thoughts.
Yeah, I know what you mean. When you become captain, you don't have much time for that kind of thing anymore. I know Jorad missed being able to take time for himself.
Do you mind if I join you?
Um, no, no. Uh, Pull up a. She'll just point to like the seat that's like built into the hole. You know.
Mhm.
And
Ambrose will go over and Riker maneuver into the chair. I've been meaning to talk to you, Ensign. Yes, Beth. Sort of along that line. I can understand how things might have gotten a little complex for you since Jurad's incident, since your procedure, since Hage.
complex is a good word for it.
And I've noticed that there have been some compatibility concerns, some rising tensions amongst some of the crew, some of the senior staff, myself, and I want to apologize if any of that came off as short with you.
No, I get it. You know, you're the captain. You need to you you're the captain. You need to make sure that that there's no confusion about that. And I get it. I really do. You know, I think that the Symbiosis Commission would say I have no business being here for that very reason.
I think I'm starting to understand the concerns they came to me with, but I don't regret fighting for you to stay along. I hope you know you've always had my support. You're an excellent engineer, science officer, overall officer.
Thanks.
I'm sure you recall, in some degree, with Jured's memories, experiences, that we were very much still coming to terms with whatever relationship we shared beyond Captain and XO. And that was cut abruptly short and transferred to you, a completely different social dynamic. I'm sure that couldn't have been easy for you, and I will admit to difficulties on my end as well. As you said, a starship can only have one captain. And sometimes I'm not sure if I'm addressing Yesbeth, or Hage, or Jored.
Well, I guess the easy answer to that is you're addressing Elizabeth Hage.
Never served with a Trill before, not to join Trill for any length of time or depth.
Yeah, it's you know, this is my fourth lifetime, or Hage's fourth lifetime, and it's never easy, you know.
I don't. I think that's the point.
But it's been good here. You know, sometimes I think about going home and being a completely different person there, and I don't know. I think I'd be rudderless. I'd be a boat stuck on the middle of the ocean, not knowing where to go. At least here, you know, I built the boat, kinda. You know, I know how it works.
You remember how someone else built the boat, how someone else knows how it works.
Yeah, but you know, it's part of me.
I suppose for a Trill, that distinction
No,
doesn't hold the same weight.
it 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 kind of does, kind of doesn't. I know I'm not Jorad, but I don't have Jorad's emotions. I don't think about things the same way he does. But I remember what he went through, and I remember the lessons he took. and I've been trying to take those lessons too, and it's tricky.
Jared was a very experienced officer. He had a lot to teach. He's a good man, a good officer. But briefly knowing the Yezbeth before Hage, I can say sometimes you do sound an awful lot like Jorad.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
As I said, I can appreciate the complexity of your situation. I was still very much getting to know Jorad as Jorad, as Jorad Hage. And then Jorad was separated from Hage in some way, and Yezbeth was added to all that. I I hope you know I've always supported you, Yezbeth.
Oh yeah, yeah. Look, when I first came on the ship, I, you were the 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 rock. You know, like I I remember you from two perspectives, being your captain and being your ensign. But
That is sorry.
in both of them, you were the solid ground that someone could stand on.
I'm not sure Jorad had ever or would have ever put it exactly that way.
I mean, I would know.
But you can see where that may be a dilemma for myself. For how you comport yourself. You're not the captain anymore. You
No,
are still an ensign.
I, yeah.
Sometimes you forget that.
Sometimes I forget my. Sometimes I forget meals. I'm sorry.
Being a good officer, even more than that, progressing through the ranks in Starfleet is more than being good at your job. It's more than showing up on time, performing admirably, even performing above and beyond. Advancing in Starfleet, being a good officer, means that you have the implicit trust of those you work with.
Um, what do you?
I'm I'm sure you know this, and I am being timid with my bluntness. Since you're joining, as I said, I've not been certain whether I'm talking to Yezbeth, Hage, or Jorad, and that means intense, quick, difficult situations that you no longer have that implicit trust, no matter how exemplary of an officer you are. Because what I need from Ensign Yezbeth is very different from what I or the ship needed from Captain Jorad Hage. I need to know that I can count on you in the position you now hold. And if I can, that position very well will rise.
Wow. I'm. All I can say is you can count on me uh to do my to you can count on me as you would any Starfleet officer.
I don't wish to pry, and I'm not asking as your commanding officer. Have you been speaking to anyone about your joining? About your new complexity? Another trill, someone off ship, a counselor? Anyone?
You mean besides myself?
Yes, very specifically besides yourself.
No, I haven't. The Symbiosis Commission, I know what they would tell me to do, and my dad, well, we don't get along.
I think you should. Whether you're comfortable speaking with our new XO, I hear she is a consummate counselor. And if not, if she can fit it into her schedule, I may be able to get you in contact with Lieutenant Dax on DS9. There will, of course, be communication lag. But
Wow,
from what I understand, she may know a bit of what you're going through, and I think that could help.
the Dax symbiote is legendary.
I can't promise anything. She's a busy woman, now especially. But I've talked with her. I think it would do you good. Either way.
Well, what can I do to prove to you that I'm up for it? That I'm willing to be the Elizabeth you're expecting?
I know this was difficult for you before the joining, but try not to get too in your head about things. Learn, appreciate, grow from the experiences that you now have. Try not to let them take you over. Yesbeth is a great person. So were, I'm sure, the what, 4 other personalities that you've had, but their time is over. At least behind the reins. This is Yesbeth's time. Remember that.
Right.
I'm not sure if any of this is helpful. I don't have your experiences. As I
No,
said, you should
no,
be speaking to another joint trill.
no, I get it. I get it. I, I think you're right. I think maybe I, sometimes I try to minimize myself, and I don't know. Maybe sometimes I do that in my own mind.
You're a good officer, Yesbeth. Place confidence there. Ambrose is going to stand up. I appreciate the talk.
Uh, she'll stand up and she'll say, "Yeah. Uh, do you want the room?"
No, I'll be continuing my walk. Sit, enjoy yourself. You work hard.
Right. Yeah. The Tachyon project's going well, by the way.
Good.
I'm sure you've seen my report.
Yes. We have a big mission coming up. I'm going to be relying on you.
You can count on me, Elizabeth Page.
Very good, Ensign. As you were. Ambrose will
Okay.
turn and walk away.
Cool. Good scene. All right, let's go ahead and take a couple minutes. I need to get some allergy medications in me because I am dying slowly over here. Quite possibly faster than slowly. We'll be back in a couple minutes. I'm going to throw a couple ads up and we'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
Ignore the clock. It lies. We are back. Push this button. So we just had the moment where Ambrose and Yezabeth had their little conversation. Oh, that was very good. Let's go ahead and come back into it with a quick conference room scene where we get to explain really quickly to anyone who wants to see it what is going on with our mission. I will do a quick narration, then you guys can add in anything you want. So Europa is on its way to it has set course and is now on its way to the space known as the Corridor. Again, this corridor is a region of space, much like the Badlands. Romulan commanders usually travel through this region when on missions to drill their crews and calibrate their systems under intense conditions. There's a lot of asteroids and these massive plasma systems that are almost plasma rivers. And the corridor is something of a turbulent oasis in the middle of these extremely dangerous plasma storms. There is also a nebula in the region. It's a class 3 nebula, which means it is it conflicts with most modern sensors on Klingon ships, Federation ships, Romulan ships, everybody's ships. Also, it inhibits cloaking devices once you're inside of it, which is okay because you have no sensors to work with. The plan is to deploy your buoys, emit your tachyons, drive them to where you need them to be, jump them, and do the things. I don't know if anybody wants to have any additional moments of prep time, setting up what people you want to be in the shuttlecraft, what people you want to be on board the ship, anything you guys want to add in there that you want to do. You do have your escape plan already figured out, or at least the initial primary escape plan, which you now have advantage on because of a role you got earlier. But if you guys have anything you want to add to this scene, now is the time to have discussions about plan, like who's going where and that kind of stuff. So in the ready room with pretty much everybody. Not the ready room, but the conference room.
Conference room.
All right,
Issue 1.
that's our plan.
So is there anything else we need to sort out?
Just who's going where. I think we didn't establish that. I don't know if you guys want to do that on camera or not.
I don't see the need of doing it on camera. We've sorted it out of camera.
Okay.
I guess maybe just for letting the audience know who's there.
Oh,
I
that's
can
fine.
riff either way.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and do a little bit, and then that'll give me a second to get the next scene set up. And
Okay, conference room. Then, while we riff for Jeff here.
Mhm.
All right, that's the plan. I believe we are more or less prepped for it. Engineering, science teams, these buoys ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All set.
Very good. Okay, we will get there shortly before Sila's forces are able to do so. We don't have too much time because they gotta have a little bit of a head start. We fortunately have a bit more tactical leeway in our approach. We're going to need to scramble as many shuttles as we can. We might need to rely on the Peregrine fighters to aid in the dispersal of these buoys, but we need to get them out there. We need to get them properly aligned, and we need to get everybody back aboard the Europa and positioned in the nebula quickly. I believe our wing team will be able to coordinate that with a number of other Danube pilots. I will be going on this away mission. Commander Brooks, you are comfortable taking command while I'm away?
Yes, Captain.
Very good. If all goes well, you should have very little to do. However, things are not always that simple.
Hope for the best, pray for the worst. I mean, prepare for the worst.
We may need to put the Europa through its paces one way or another. At best, we won't need any of this, but more realistically, at best, we may need to play a little cat and mouse with a superior Romulan force. The Europa should be well equipped to do so. Do you
Of course.
have any experience with that level of tactics?
No, I do not.
Then I suggest you rely on our security team. I would like to request Lieutenant Mills that you join me on the away mission that would put Lieutenant Koba on tactical.
Yes, sir.
Are you both in agreement?
You got it.
We will need somebody in a shuttle to shuttle us towards the Romulan ships, beam us over, beam us back, get us back to the Europa, and get everyone out of here. Hopefully discreetly, or at least quickly. Obviously, I believe Tong should be our transport engineer, utilizing the transporters on the shuttle. Lieutenant Silva, would you like to take the helm of the shuttle, or would you be more confident in your ability to maneuver the Europa as a whole?
Things are going to get pretty hairy on the Europa. I think that's where I'm better positioned.
Very well. To remind me, we don't have any other actual pilots between Silva or Jisa, right? Nobody else plays a pilot?
I
Correct.
don't
Okay.
think so. Not unless Kendall's got one.
We could always put. I mean, we could always put a non-optimal person.
Lackey.
Eh,
Lackey will happily take an important position.
if we can get the buoys in place and our pilots back to the Europa in time, Jisa would make the best choice for the pilot of that shuttle. If not, Ensign Lackey, we may be calling upon you and your services.
Lackey gives a low key yes.
Timing will be important, and we'll have to trust in our teams and our preparation. As for the away mission itself, as I said, myself, Lieutenant Mills, Ensign Yesbeth, I would like you to accompany us as well. We'll require your technical expertise, I'm sure. And Lieutenant Tana, I'm sure having a skilled communications officer and your experience in, if I'm reading this correctly, and some of the experiences that you've shown in your previous stations, I would like you to accompany us as well. We could use your aid.
Okay. You know, Bajoran resistance isn't a dirty word, right?
Some are more hesitant to speak of it, especially those who continue on with Starfleet. But I appreciate that we can speak candidly. Your expertise will come in handy, and I appreciate it. We could also use that eye of yours, I'm sure.
Anyway, I can help, Captain.
Any more questions? I know there's a lot of moving pieces. Very good. Everybody take some time, go over your work, and take a little bit more time for yourself. We'll be mustering at duty stations at 0930. It's going to be a big day. Dismissed.
All right.
I don't know that we actually need to make a scene of it unless our med people would like to, but Dasavi would be prepping med bay for potentially incoming injuries, etc. Well,
Is there a scene with Dasavi and Define there? We haven't seen either of them in a while.
Yeah.
Just a suggestion if either of you have them.
Yeah, that would be good if you guys have anything you want to do with that.
Could we add somebody from the away team in the scene? That way we can like talk to them about what to do if like they come across the prisoners wounded or anything like that.
Yeah.
Anna?
Yeah.
Perfect. So,
Since she is the closest thing to a medic you guys are going to have on this this away mission.
oh, that's perfect.
I was racking my brain trying to remember if we had. I think Nick had made one. Thanks.
The last combat medic we had was Jack's Vulcan, who I can't remember the name of anymore. Not Jack.
No, John.
John's Vulcan.
Yeah.
I thought we had one at some point in there that was going to take
Mar.
that spot.
I miss Mar.
Yeah, Mar.
I do.
Mar was a pal.
So you head into Lieutenant Tana goes into the sick bay, just as the last, they're the closest thing to a science officer they have going on this mission. Picking up a couple extra supplies for medical stuff and any last minute, this is probably one of her first. Not probably, but maybe not. Definitely not the kind of away mission you are normally sent on.
Yeah, it's a pretty intense away mission for anybody.
Right. When you arrive down there, the doctor and the chief charge nurse are, which is obviously Define and Dasavi, are getting everything set up down there. There's a lot of commotion going on. People are moving around. They're setting up triage beds, and there's a section where the morgue is being set up, prepared. You guys can go ahead and do what you want to do. It's a frenetic energy going on in the sick bay.
I don't think Delphine is particularly frenetic. I think she is very calm as she is preparing toe tags, for people. She,
This person's certainly not making this. I'm just going to write this up right now. Sorry.
Delphine will greet Tana unless Dasavi jumps into it. She'll look Tana up and down, and Lieutenant, you're a bit early to be a battle casualty.
No, I just felt like I needed to check in early,
Saves us time.
Mm-hmm. Might as well put my name at the top of the list.
Well, are you here for the med? Are you here for the med kits?
That I am.
Oh, right this way. I think the doctor would like to have a word with you.
All right. I've had a little bit of experience with battlefield medicine, but it's nothing on this par.
Well, the hydrospanner does most of the work. Not hydrospanner, hypospray.
I mean, the hydrospanner could too, I suppose.
Depending on how hard you hit him with it.
Right. Lieutenant.
Yes.
He'll open one of the emergency cases. How familiar are you with the equipment?
I've had a beginner's course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basic
first aid that they show us in the academy.
Right. Well, I won't have to get the label maker out then.
Fantastic. It's a good thing Fantastic. That means I don't have to read.
As Lieutenant here said, the medical tricorder and Hypo sprays will do most of the work for you. Your job, should you need to use kits, is stabilization. Get them stabilized, get them back to the shuttle, get them back here. Take it from there.
Roger, Roger, Doc.
I hope you're not too nervous. This kind of away mission seems rather dangerous. Sorry if I'm making you more nervous.
Not that nervous.
Well, good. Nerves of steel, I suppose.
Yeah,
Listen,
kind of used to battlefield mentality and risk.
You mostly dealt with guerrilla tactics in the Bajoran Resistance, am I right?
Yes, I did. This is certainly different, but the danger's always danger.
I suppose that much is true. Well, just make sure you keep your head on. The last thing you need is other people to have to play nursemaid to you.
Well, I
excellent
will
point.
certainly try to dodge. Make sure you keep one of those fancy tags for me.
I've got one with your name on it.
Fantastic.
All right.
Take the kits.
Take the kits and head back down to your assigned shuttle. Define and Dasav, you guys want to add anything else to between the two of you?
Can I, maybe we don't need to roll, but can we have that kit count as advantage if a medicine check needs to be made for first aid?
Sure.
Cool.
So I know we don't want to do the actual reprimand of Jisa at the moment, but we want to have that conversation between Ambrose and Brooks before you get to the scene to kill a bit more time for the transport, to the actual driving too. Really, so you guys are arriving in system, and Jisa and company are setting out to deploy the buoys, which we can do a quick roll, but if it's largely the fighters that are doing it, there's not a lot of role play to be had for the deploying of the buoy. It's just a roll. But I like the idea of, at least in my mind, cinematically on camera, you'd see her out there doing that while Ambrose and Brooks are deciding her fate.
I will leave that to Kendall because I know you said you.
Yeah, it's up to you if you
not
want to do it
feeling
with your
big
fog
scenes,
brain.
so we can hold off on that because this could be a whole conversation. I'm happy either way.
If we do have this conversation, I may need to ask out of character questions in reference to what has been talked about before.
Yeah. That's fine.
Because low processing right now.
Yeah, that's fine. And this is just.
I imagined this would be a scene that that you would mostly dictate.
Yeah. And if
the
you have any
conversation.
questions, feel free to, go ahead and ask. But this is basically just you. This would be you taking to the captain whatever your recommendation would be to, as far as the punishment for Jisa, which we talked about in the other chat.
But I don't want to put you out.
Yeah, if you're not feeling up to it, that's fine too. I know what head clog feels like. Mine's fortunately starting to dip away now that I've taken a Zyrtec.
It does make sense we wait until after the battle for this kind of thing.
It could.
Yeah, I would appreciate it if we could do this next session.
All right, let's hold off.
Thank you.
So with that,
Ambrose will be in his ready room, and you can look over the shoulder, and we see he's holding a pad that just is titled Commander Brooks's recommendations for Jisa incidents. Just
You know what I would love to hear? Does Arani confide in anybody? Is he nervous about this?
that could be a good thing to do.
So,
I don't know. We talked about that in between sessions about whether or not Ambrose had anyone he could confide in or was going to try to find anyone he could confide in, but it's up to you.
Yeah, that has been my personal greatest thing I've missed from having John around. because man, Mar was a buddy to Ambrose, and he really hasn't found anyone besides maybe Dasavi, but a lot of that is still very professional confidence.
What about a holodeck program?
We can also go to the next step, which is I've got it where Ambrose is finishing his walk around the ship.
Yeah,
and
I don't have anything prepared in that line,
yeah.
and we have a lot to do anyway.
So let's go ahead and have the shuttles, the fighters go out and begin deploying the buoys. This is a pretty easy role play session to have to. We there's not much to do here, but I do want to do a quick roll, and it would be a con. Maybe con. What would be the roll here? I'm thinking control and con for precision flying to be able to get the buoys exactly where you want them.
Makes sense to me. Probably a
we're
system.
talking GSA.
Talking GISA. Yep.
Okay.
And this has essentially there are complications to be had here if you get them in the wrong spots. So
Cool. You said control con?
control con.
Okay. Fightercraft probably won't work because she's not actively fighting, but can I make an argument, loose as it may be, I'm aware, for electronic warfare because she is properly deploying mechanisms that will mess up, their electronics. Very electronic warfare. It's just not really her actionability at this particular moment. So I could go either way.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Okay. I will use that focus. Control con. We're full up on momentum, right?
Yes.
Cool. I'm gonna use one. I don't think I need to use. What's the
Difficulty is 3.
difficulty? Okay.
The complication range due to the situation you are in is going to be 2. No, I'm sorry, 3. Will be 3.
18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that is because you're flying in. You guys are in the corridor and you're flying through, like weaving in and out of all the asteroids and things like that. So.
Okay.
Would the shuttlecraft be able to help her?
The fighters, they can. I don't think the fighters have anything they can. I don't think the fighters have any stats that they can assist with, though.
They do. Weapons plus engineering.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Where we got that fighter shadow.
I put them all in.
Did you add the fighter to the game? To the
Yep.
Oh, nice. I didn't.
They're in there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're there.
I know this is specifically a combat talent, but I do have precise evasion. Would that help in, like, she is trained to bob and weave in space?
Not for this. Like if you had something that was more like a bombing run situation, maybe like that. But that sounds like it's more like if you're trying to avoid being hit.
I was just thinking like slaloming asteroids.
Yeah, no, because you're doing with precision, basically like you're setting up these things, you don't have as much maneuverability to do that. So
yeah. This sounds like an important task. Is anyone opposed to me taking another 2 momentum?
Not at all.
All right, I'm rolling 4 dice. We're doing this.
All right, so you've used 3 momentum total, right?
Yes. Awesome. 2 hits and a complication.
All right.
So we don't get the 3 successes.
All right. So yeah, this has succeeded a cost that's built in there.
Okay. Yeah, what's that cost? Do we know? Is that later?
So the cost is actually going to be damage to the shuttlecraft, which is not a huge deal, but as you're flying through the couple of the it's you and your fighter wing going through and doing this. And you're going and flying through and setting up the buoys. And one of your pilots is going to adjust the third buoy in the net. And as he's flying through, getting ready to maneuver one of that one buoy that's slightly out of place, he's not paying super close attention, and one of the asteroids comes in and slams into the wing of his shuttle, of his fighter.
Damn it, Hotjaw! Watch your periphery.
He yells loudly, and a bunch of sparks fly up in his console on the shuttle, and you hear him scream. He's not you're still getting life signs, and the ship is still intact, but he is unconscious. So you will have to figure out how to get him back into the ship. The other, and I will add a complication to the scene for the complication. That complication comes into effect during the battle.
Do these things have tractor beams?
I don't think they do.
Cool. Jisa has a focus in warp fields, so she's going to fly over and expand the warp field around his fighter and use that to push that pocket of space with him in the direction they need to go.
Okay. That's going to be an engineering roll. Say difficulty is 2. They have phaser banks, they have micro torpedoes, and that is what they have. So they do not have.
Yeah, I don't think I can tow somebody with micro torpedoes. Not safely.
Not safely. Be rough.
That's plan B.
Yes. So, all right. So you zoom over and you get in within range. Your ship is showing, like you're seeing on your console, that his life signs are present, but there's definitely some serious injuries, and the shuttle is losing pressurization. So you've got one roll. If you fail it, the pilot will die. So your roll is going to be either daring or control and engineering.
Okay. I'm gonna go daring engineering. Okay, Wing, the lot of you back to the Europa. We are cutting close on time, and we need as few sensor targets out here as possible. All right, Hotjaw.
Roger.
Mess you put me in. Okay. I'm gonna give you some threat because I don't want to take all of our momentum.
Okay. How many?
Just one. Just roll 3 dice.
All right.
Normal complication range.
The normal, everything you're doing right now, the complication range is going to be +2. So
okay, so 18, 19, 20 complication range 3.
Yep.
Okay. Focuses in warp fields.
Yep.
Okay.
Assist with the shuttles or the fighters' engines plus engineering.
Sounds good to me. Or, oh,
come on, Brian, what are you doing to me?
I like that. It's another complication. I like it.
Oh man,
get another
this
game.
guy's dead. Fuck. I've been meaning to add a value to Jisa, but she has not had enough screen time.
She's got 2.
Yeah, I've been wanting to give her a value of something along the lines of I won't let any more people die under my command.
Gotcha.
Because that was a big thing with why she was so insistent on Kendall, Ensign Kendall,
yeah,
standing down.
I'm going to say no to right now because I think that can play into some stuff I want to do in the future.
Yeah.
Also, failure is pretty interesting here.
Yeah, failure would be pretty interesting. It would be pretty interesting. I'm all for the failure. Okay, let's just roll 3 dice. Daring engineering, go.
2 successes. Hits. All right. Well, it takes you a few seconds to try to get the ship to stabilize the warp field, the shield field, and all that stuff that you're trying to do. It's taking longer than you wanted it to. Like the complication is the amount of time it's taking to do this. You do manage to get the shuttle back in, and as you're watching, you can see the vitals on your screen are phasing lower and lower as you're getting into the shuttle bay.
Europa, we're gonna need a med team in shuttle bay.
Okay. You managed to get into the shuttle, into the hangar bay, and I'm going to say Dasavi and Define are there because it makes sense for them to be there. As you're getting out of your shuttle, out of your fighter, the emergency crew, the emergency docking crew is breaking apart the shuttlecraft to extricate the guy. And
yeah, Jisa's gonna just straight hop out of her shuttle. She's not waiting for a ladder or anything.
Right.
Anytime I think GISA, I think BSG. So of course there's a ladder.
Right.
No, she's not waiting for anything. She's jumping out of there. She's running over. And if they're still trying to jaws of life this thing open, she's just going to, as GISA apparently does, pull out her phaser and just start cutting.
Okay. After a few seconds, you manage to between the two between what you're doing, what they're doing, you guys manage to get the cockpit hatch all the way open. And one of the guys reaches in and pulls the poor pilot out. Dasavi and Define are there and step in. Go ahead and give me a medical roll. This is a diagnostic roll. It is not a treatment roll.
That's the wrong window.
I assume this guy was just dead on arrival.
He's in the process of being dead.
Come on, Hotjaw, don't do this to me.
Who's making this roll?
I got it.
This is Define and Dasavi. Difficulty is going to be 2 because it's a simple diagnostic roll. And it's control and medicine. Or possibly insight medicine.
Define will assist. You get to re-roll a dice because Define is assisting. Yep.
That's 0.
Between the two of you, you got 1.
Now we have 2.
2. Wait, did you roll twice? Oh, because
Yeah.
you can re-roll 1, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're seeing is that his heart is stopped. He is not breathing. He has some significant internal bleeding, and he also has oxygen deprivation and some not explosive decompression, but some decompression issues. You'll get 1 roll. You did not get enough on your diagnostic to gain an advantage, so the difficulty is 4. This is basically doing your immediate CPR and all that stuff right here in the bay. You get 1 attempt. No additional complication range, just a difficulty of 4.
That higher difficulty is because GISA is being, the terrible person getting in the way of the doctors as they're trying to do their thing. With her 1 medicine, she's jumping in like, how can I help?
Starts doing
Tennis.
compressions.
Yep. Broken ribcage, just like, I got this.
His heart's crashing. His heart's crashing. We're at 6.4 beats per second.
Define Dasavi. I'm gonna play Brian's characters today. Apparently, Dasavi looks at Chisa. Lieutenant, please occupy yourself. I appreciate your enthusiasm. We've got this.
Fine. Just fix him.
Yes, sir.
She's in the background pacing around.
I'm trying to remember what the stupid talent
Define-
does. Oh,
Define gives Jisa just a sympathetic glance for just a moment, but she's too busy on her work to provide any comfort.
In fact, she's going to go over and start yelling at the rest of the squad. Way more than what's appropriate.
Uh,
I feel like bold medicine would apply here if I could find it in the blasted book. Tell me what the hell it does.
Bold
Yeah.
medicine, is that a talent?
Yep. This infernal book.
I think bold gets you an extra momentum on certain situations. I can't remember what it is
Yeah.
because there's a bunch of different bolds.
if you spend a threat, if you spend a threat, you get to re-roll a die.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
Haven't used that in forever.
It's a good one.
Mm-hmm. The good old days when Ambrose used to get into combat.
Well, you'll have your
Yeah.
chance. You're saying.
It's coming.
Get hyped.
We're at
You've got 2 successes. If you want to use bold, you'll give me a threat.
Do it.
fine. I can't. I hate Roll20 with the passion without
Ah.
I can't see a bloody thing. I don't know where our. Where did our? I don't know. All I have is a giant map.
Oh, do you need the main screen for what do you need to know? You've got 3 momentum.
Thank you. That's what I'm after.
Yes. They don't go between screens. I'm on the other screen, so. So how many of those do you want to spend? I think you're cutting out there, Ev.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
I,
Okay, we can hear you. Say something.
I have no idea what's going on. There should be nothing interfering with anything.
It's probably a Discord problem.
Well, when you touch your headset, it fixes. So I think it's probably a contact thing in your headset.
The only thing I could think is if that mic was loose.
Oh, that could be.
Yeah.
Because it does. It sounds crisper now too. So.
Oh well, no, mic was probably within it only. All right, let's spend. Okay, so I was trying to find shit. We have 2 now. What's our target?
Total is 4.
Total is 4. Okay.
And again, you get to re-roll because I'm assisting you.
Okay. My emergency medicine still applies.
Yeah.
And I presume because I'm using the Fiend's reroll that using Bolt would not be.
You could use it still if you want to. They can stack. It's just a matter of whether or not you need to do that. It would essentially allow you to reroll 2 dice. I don't think you'd be able to. I'm not sure stacked actions. I'm not sure you could use the Fiend's reroll and then if you still needed to reroll again, roll again.
Okay. All right. We will not do that.
To think about how the stack works, quote unquote, for those Magic players out there, the stack.
Mm-hmm. The stack.
Let's go ahead and use one of those momentum.
All right.
Good old man.
Yes, we did not need to use one of those momentum.
Okay, well that's 6.
All right, 6. So that you needed 4. You get 2 momentum back, which is more than you spent.
Yep.
Damn it, he lived.
I'm sorry.
Why are you so disappointed?
Jisa just runs over and phasers him to death.
Read the script. You're supposed to die. Hot job.
I needed the trauma.
He after applying the cortical steroids, the cortical stimulants, and all that stuff, you managed to get him back just a bit. He's breathing on his own, and you've essentially got Rosk. For those of you who know what that is, but you've got him back, and you then commit an emergency transport to sickbay to get him into stasis or into emergency care, long-term care.
I'd like to have Delphine after he's stable. I'd like to have her take a moment to step away and talk to Jisa real quick.
Okay.
So she'll walk over and she'll say, we were able to stabilize him. He's going to be on he's going to need long-term care, at least for a bit. So, but he'll be okay.
Okay. Good. Good to hear. It's good to hear. Thank you.
He is heading.
You seem a bit rattled. Are you okay?
I'm fine. At least I would be fine if anyone else on their ship could do their damn job. Besides you and your team, of course, you just did a great job. Are you seriously trying to blow up the ship? Secure that warhead. God damn it. It's the people I'm dealing with.
She'll reach out and she'll touch Jisa's arm and she'll say, you need to keep a cool head. Getting
I know.
overactive is not going to help anyone.
Okay. I know. I'm cool.
After this mission, how about we take a vacation? The 2 of us, we'll take leave.
Yeah, sure. We'll just hope Ryza doesn't get caught in the crosshairs between the Romulans, the Klingons, the Federation.
Well, assuming Rice is still there, we'll enjoy ourselves on the beach.
Okay. All right. I used some time away from these idiots anyway.
She'll give her a kiss. Like, yeah, she knows that Jisa. It's totally not her vibe to be this unprofessional in the middle of a shuttle, or in the shuttle bay. But she knows Jisa needs some affection right now.
Jisa does that face, where she doesn't even realize that happened for like a good 10 seconds afterwards.
Good luck out there.
Yeah. Thanks. Well, with any luck, we won't need to go out there, which is good, since none of these other people can fly. Good luck to you. Hopefully we won't need the med bay all that much.
She'll nod, and with that, she'll head off.
All right. Some time passes. Everyone's back. You know, the gentleman's been transported. Hot Jaw, the man with the cleft chin, has been
He's a pretty boy.
transported back to the sick bay and is being seen to in the intensive care unit. There's a tension that's rolling over the ship as the inevitable is becoming more inevitable, I guess. The clock is ticking down to when everyone knows that things are going to happen. Ambrose is making his last little bit of his rounds around the ship, checking out the last places that he missed when he stopped and talked to Yezabeth earlier. Anybody that you want to talk to, anyone that you want to run into, anyone that wants to run into Ambrose, this is a good time to do that. We got just a couple minutes for that. Also, anybody that wants to do anything that's that tension, Tong, maybe redoing a sensor array or a transporter array or whatever. Anything that you guys want to do that's a single scene, one or two scenes at the most, about the tension that is building now before we get to the Romulan arrival. Anybody have anything they want to do?
Lackey's just in the hallway talking to some extras, and he's like, "Yes, I finally get to go on an away mission. Now I'm the one." No.
Oh, there you are, Ensign Lackey. We won't be needing your services. The flight team has returned.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. Jesus is going to go on the shuttle. She's going to start yelling at everybody, "Why can none of you fly?" So Ambrose, as you're walking through the ship, you see the various members of the crew going about their business. You have that sensation, being your empathic nature. As you're going through the ship, there's definitely a high level of tension. Some people are outright nervous. Some people are fine. They don't, it's just another day in the life of Starfleet. And some of your older crew members, some of your NCOs and other veterans of the Dominion War understand, what's coming, and there's a definite sense of unity on the ship from the NCOs down. They're trying to make sure everyone is comfortable and understands. And when you come into any room, you feel the room's tension change. It's not necessarily that everyone feels more comfortable once you pass through, but that it's more real. That their tentative fears become more quantified when they see the captain. They're not more nervous, just the reality begins to set in. But as you're passing through the ship, you get those sensations. As you're wrapping up, though, you manage to, you're down in the engineering section. Kostra is uh, finishing up some final touches and he's trying to go through and do something with to keep the engines more efficient when you're in while you guys are in the nebula, because we're now in the nebula. He's trying to keep the power fluctuations from getting out of hand. Clearly he's very busy. And as you're staring at the warp core, you begin to get a strange pressure in your mind. Excuse me. You can feel something similar to the pressure that you felt when you were trying to read Toshiri the very first time. That kind of reflexive pushback pressure. And after a few seconds, you feel this sensation, like there's in your vision kind of flashes, and you're standing in a white open space, very much like the Prophets situation, like with the whole surrounded by the whiteness. And you can hear voices, but you can't make many of them out. Nothing is clear, but you're hearing, you hear some of the voices that you heard earlier, way back when you were on Deep Space Nine. I can't remember the characters' names right now, but the characters that you were like the potential Kai, and Kira and a few others. Are you going to do or say anything while you're in this state?
So I hear them, but I don't see anybody.
You cannot see anyone. Yep. You just hear voices, and they're kind of muffled. It's more like trying to make out. It's like a half dozen people talking all at once, kind of far away.
We've done one of these scenes before, right? This isn't the
Similar.
first time.
Yeah, we've done something similar.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stand there, and I'm gonna listen for either the lullaby or the Toshiri.
Okay.
If I can pick anything out, focus on just threads of all these overlapping voices.
Okay. After a few minutes of trying to really focus things out and narrow it down and listening specifically for the lullaby, you can hear the words, but not in the right tune. You don't recognize the Romulan words necessarily because you don't speak Romulan, I don't think, do you?
Not fluently. I think
Okay.
he's doing he's got the Rosetta Stone for Romulan that he picked up after meeting Toshiri, but he's not very good at it.
You spend 18 hours on Babel.
Yeah.
Which is equivalent to one semester. No, anyway, you can start to hear it, you can hear the words repetitively in Romulan, but they don't have the tone to them. It doesn't have the musical note to it. And all you can, beyond that, all you hear is the repetitive voice of someone that you spoke to way back on Deep Space Nine, right near the end of that. The voice keeps saying, perhaps one day, perhaps one day, perhaps one day. And then you see coming out of the mist, the woman who was the most likely person to be Kai. You don't really know what politics are going on over there at the moment, but she was the one who offered you the Orb experience before, and she's carrying a small music box, like one of those 80s music boxes, those cheap cardboard ones that you open up and has a little dancer in it. And as she opens it, the little dancer appears to be Toshiri, and the light flashes, and you collapse to the ground in engineering as Kostra is standing over you. Kostra, you basically were doing your thing, and then the captain he wouldn't get out of your way. Like, he was in the way of one of your consoles. He wouldn't move. You tried to push him a couple times or try to tap a couple times, and then he just collapsed. So
Cap, and he'll like wave his hand in front of your eyes. Come back to us, Cap. You there?
You're conscious. You're just dazed.
Okay. What do you want?
You took a fainting spell. Look.
Apologies, Mr. Kostra.
No apologies necessary. Just get yourself to the med bay. That's not That's not usual.
No, I'm sure I'm just dehydrated, but you have a point. I will leave you to your engines.
Don't worry, they'll be spinning long after we're both gone.
Very good.
Get yourself checked out. Something to. I've seen dehydration before.
Yeah, and Ambrose. As soon as he said the last thing he said, he's walking towards the door.
All right. You gonna
I think he would go to Med Bay. He would actually go to Med Bay, but he's gonna specifically only talk to Dasavi.
Mhm.
We can play that out. We don't need to. I don't have anything particular in mind, but he would go see Dasavi.
all right. We can start with that, and then while we're doing that, we can have the next scene start. So you head to sick bay. Dasavi is Dasavi and Davine are just doing a round on the, doing their quick rounds on the in sick bay. There's not a lot going on other than there's one guy obviously in critical condition. When you come in, that's Dasavi is probably standing near him, going over his chart, looking at whatever. Probably gets a sense almost immediately of your state. Hands Defina a chart. Hands Defina the chart and says something about getting more medications. And then you guys can go from there.
Captain, my office.
Sure. How are preparations?
I think we're all set. We had a slight disruption when one of Jesus' crew came in quite battered, but he's stabilized. Lieutenant Define is making sure he recovers fine in a few days.
Ambrose, listening to this, is going to go over to your replicator. Water 16 degrees.
What has you so rattled?
Not sure. I don't get pre-battle fatigue. Not anymore. Not like this. You spent some time on DS9, correct? Or at least in the Bajoran system?
In the system.
How familiar are you with the Bajoran orb experiences? What is your opinion on a scientific medical basis?
There are a lot of theories out there about the orbs and the experiences they can induce.
Have you heard of anyone? Have you had the opportunity to treat or examine anyone after this condition, or at least read about it?
I've done some reading on it. It is rather fascinating. Um, not entirely unlike the shared vision hallucination mind vacation. We had a lot of talk of being disoriented after the fact. Um, what do you ask?
We have not been anywhere near Bajor in quite some time, and yet I have been gradually experiencing things that seem similar to what I understand an orb experience to be. I just had one,
Mm,
I think.
Um, and she will uh, get up with her tricorder and
Yes, yes.
brain.
Do the doctor thing. Have I lost my mind, doctor?
Well, it does seem to still be in there, which is good. Might be a little difficult to rescue anyone without it.
I'm sure I just need some water.
Well, dehydration can cause hallucinations and other interesting experiences. We would be noticing some other symptoms as well. And she will um, press on your arm or on an exposed area of some sort and watch the brain that isn't working. Watch the skin turn pink where it's supposed to, when it's supposed to. I think it's safe to say that you're not dehydrated.
Well, I'm already feeling fine. Just figured it might be something you might look in on.
I take it this is related to your sudden, strong urge to head toward.
That was different. Maybe not unrelated, but different, more personal.
And this seems.
Larger,
Hmm,
grander. I had too many other things going on during the Dominion War to pay too terribly close attention to Cisco and his religious happenings within Bajoran politics and whatnot, so I am sadly ill informed as to what what is apparently a practical religious experience with these wormhole aliens, the prophets. But there seemed to be some touch of that all the way back on DS9, and apparently it's followed me all the way out here and beyond
well,
into Narendra. And I can't be having visions and falling down in the middle of a Romulan warbird.
no, I don't think that would be terribly helpful for you.
Do you have anything for that?
I am fresh out of deific shield, fortunately, Captain.
We'll get you restocked next time we hit a star-based. Very
Jeffrey, I
well.
presume I'm not seeing anything medically relevant here.
So there is a an additional bit of I can't remember what they called it, but
Like cordrazine or something.
something like that. It's something like
Yeah.
that, like the same thing that you would have seen that was present in Cisco's mind when he was after he was in the wormhole alien situation the first couple times. You do see a rise in that, so there is something tangibly there. Like his mind was clearly touched by something, but it's standard for what you would see after an orb experience.
Right.
There is a fair amount of medical scans for people that are immediately after orb experiences, but obviously it's not something that's heavily studied because people don't have experiences that often. But
Have you had contact with one of these orbs?
No. I was offered, but
Hmm.
didn't take the experience. No.
Interesting. Your brain seems to be reacting as though you have. Is there something that will block that temporarily?
yeah, you could probably give a shot that would stop that. Something that would block the. It would largely. Yes. However, it would also probably block
Empathy.
his empathy
I was going to
directly.
suggest if you didn't.
Yep.
Yep.
So there is an option, though it is as they used to say on old Earth, potentially cutting off your nose to spite your face. I can. There's a compound that can temporarily block the chemical that is flooding your brain that is causing these visions or experiences or what have you. However, it will also block your empathy. Both of which, well, the empathy itself could be very beneficial. However, not falling over in the middle of a Romulan warbird is also beneficial. I'll leave it to you to decide which.
Is there a window in this room?
Sure.
He has to do the pensive
Great.
captain looking out the window scene. He's gonna walk over behind Dasavi's desk and stare out the window. And I want to try and concentrate on that music with the imagery of Tiny Dancer Toshiri in the music box and just try to reach out.
Okay.
And I don't expect anything from it, but that is what he's doing.
Okay.
Tell me if that's a helpful story beat.
Do you have one of those crystals?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You've got your little one, but you've got your big one in your quarters,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I have my necklace, so I could always. I'd probably actually go and do that.
Just grab the little one, you mean?
Yeah, I'd focus on the little one.
Okay.
If it doesn't work, but I feel something, then I might go back to my main crystal ball. But
Okay. I'm trying to decide if I want to end the scene here or not. All right. So as you're focusing on it and you're concentrating very hard, you've got your hand on the crystal and you're using the breathing techniques and stuff from the from your that you were taught.
Mar taught me a Vulcan.
Mind cleansing.
Yeah, mind cleansing
Okay.
sort of thing.
And you're focusing really hard on that Tiny Dancer in Elton John's voice is no.
Tiny
The,
dancer.
Now all I can think of is the song "Dancing with Myself" by
Another good one. Yeah.
Billy Idol. Yeah.
Billy Idol. Yep.
Anyway, you're sitting there focusing and you're thinking very hard, and then you begin to feel a sensation. It's hard to grasp it. It's just kind of like trying to pick up wet sand. Every time you try to grasp onto it, it kind of folds through your fingers.
Sand in the water. Yeah.
Right. Yep. And you're thinking, and then you hear very subtly, very impactfully in your head, you hear Toshiri's voice, and it says, "Help me." At which point the red alert alarms go off, and whoever's on the bridge, Commander Brooks, calls down, the Romulans have decloaked in the area.
Don't worry, I'm coming. What do you mean the Romulans have?
So,
Right.
yeah. Sorry.
Everybody to action stations. Where to go? Doctor, no time. And I will head towards the shuttle.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and
While
end.
Dasavi dies in the background.
Right. Because we have several soup brains tonight, although I am feeling much better now that I've taken my Zyrtec, and I'm actually feeling a little excited now. It's a great time
My
to stop.
coffee finally kicked in.
I know, right there. So what we'll do is we'll pick up next session with Red Alert coming off, and we'll start on the bridge with we'll start with our cold open. The shuttles the Commander Brooks on the bridge and the Romulans coming in and then calling down. And I'll work with you on that, Kendall, so that we know where to start that next session. But we'll start directly in the action next session, and we'll jump right in and get things done. So with that, let's go ahead and do our quick wrap up. Let me find my buttons here. What?
Oh man, this was so much tonight. This was so much.
What moment stands out most to you this evening? Let's start with Brian.
Somebody who's not me.
Right. Brian, you had a lot of good stuff going on tonight. I liked every one of your character scenes. I really liked the Elizabeth stuff. So what moment stands out most to you this evening?
Yeah, I really like the choice of giving Ambrose that vision right before the battle. That was a good timing. Oh, and I really liked how Jisa responded to the space accident. That was a really good scene, and I really enjoyed all that.
That hot jaw.
Hotjaw.
Idiot.
That's a terrible name.
I was going for Hawkjaw, like some sort of bird, like peregrine bird fighter. It came out Hotjaw, so you know he's just
yeah,
he's got a nice chin.
yeah, it's got a nice. This person is played by Kirk Douglas in his youth.
Yeah.
Ev, do you have anything that stands out most to you this evening?
I liked the little scene between Dafine and Jason.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. That was a good. I keep forgetting there's the connection there between Jisa and Dafine because we don't see either one of them nearly enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I really that was good. Kudos to Brian for that one for remembering that's there and picking up on that. So
I'm glad you added that in.
Yeah, now I'm looking forward to that vacation. That was a spur of the moment thing, but it's definitely
Yeah.
Kendall, you watched a lot of tonight and you had some soup brain. So what's the alphabet spell out for you?
Yes, I appreciate that. I like the toe tag scene.
Oh yeah,
That made me giggle.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
I love that Tana was like, you got a toe tag for me, right?
yeah. It's filled out. She just wears it under her inside her
Yep.
boot. Just pre-applied.
You got a real grim sense of humor. It's gonna come out real fast, real
Yeah.
hard.
Ambrose is down for that energy. I want to see some of that on this away mission.
Yeah. Jack, what do you got for the best? What moment stands out most to you?
Oh boy, so much of tonight I was in, so it feels weird saying, I really liked all this stuff I did.
You can say that. Why not?
No, I enjoyed every second of tonight, as I usually do, but this was a great episode. I still have to pull myself away from Ambrose, especially with that final scene, because I gotta go rescue my princess from the tower.
Right.
I really liked seeing Amathi's personality bouncing around like what's next? What's next? What more can we do?
Right.
I thought that was great. I think there was a little bit of d- both parties in that instance seemed a little soup brain, and of course we've had some technical difficulties, but I'd love to see that a bit more.
Yeah.
I thought that
He
was
has a
great.
lot of energy.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you could give,
I did.
go ahead.
I really liked how we opened with Tong just kind of playing supervisor and getting ideas and getting like bouncing things off of Yezabeth and Tana, who really took it away. I really like what you guys both bounced back at me because I'm like, okay, great, you had great ideas. Tell me what those are, and
Right.
you guys threw it right back at me, and I thought that was great.
Yeah, it's hard to do on a cold scene, especially after being off for a
Mhm.
week.
Yeah.
And with everything else that's been going on, it's those couple of quick scenes that we had that felt
Mhm.
like, I mean, basically like I was dictating what we were doing because I kind of was. We're really just there to try to get everyone back into something and get some characters on screen and get some roles done. And
I think this was a really excellently paced episode with all of the different scenes
yeah,
in between major developments and
Mhm.
planning and plot development, stuff like that.
when I write out the scene list, it does make it makes it way easier on me because
Mhm.
and I do that for a lot of episodes, but I haven't recently because I just haven't had time. So I want to give thanks to everybody after our last week we had our meeting. Um, it motivated me to get back to doing that a little bit more and remembering that that is something that I need to do. My ADD went, hey, you do this thing, right? Don't do that anymore. So, so if you give,
I put all of my ADHD into Amathi.
yeah,
Mhm.
right. I need to get Brol back on because that guy's got some of that.
Oh man,
Um,
him and
I just
Tong.
need an deep
Oy.
breath.
yeah. Who would you want to give the most props to for their playing their character? So basically, who best embodied their character tonight? This is pick somebody that you thought did a good job, give them props for the character they played. Like for me, again, I thought Yezabeth's frustration, or not necessarily frustration, but her self struggle, I think, was evident tonight when talking to Amber. So that was really good, and I think that took that character to me. That took that character um, and put her back on track to I think where she was before the Hage symbiote incident. Like I think that really, I mean, there's still obviously the Hage stuff is still going on, but I think that was a moment that really kind of grounds her again and makes her story more compelling again. I think that's really cool. I thought you did a good job there, Brian.
I'll give Jack props for that scene too. He was you asked interesting questions, and it really finally let me. This. I'll be honest. This is stuff like I've thought about, but like short of her going around and say, "Hey, I've got symbiote,"
Yeah.
I don't get much chance to talk about it.
I've got
So
post symbiote disorder.
Mhm.
If only there was a counselor on the ship.
Yeah.
Weird.
it,
Yeah, I'm very happy with how that scene turned out. I like the dynamic that we had because I really didn't want to come down on Yezbeth. I wanted to lift Yezbeth up
mhm,
and kind of help lift her up out of the symbiote soup
Yeah.
yeah.
that we've been seeing.
And while a counselor
Um,
would be fun, this is something that I think needed to be organic. And from
Yeah.
there, it can go to us to beyond that. But I think it
Mhm.
needed to be organic. And I think this is something we've been looking for a while. I think I think Brian I know early on in season 2 which this is, Brian and I had talked about getting this moment, and it just never really appeared. So
This has been a scene I've wanted with Ambrose and Yezbeth from like 4 episodes into season 2, and
yeah,
it's just we kept pushing it back and pushing it back. So I'm glad we finally got to it, and I think it really fits at this point because we're going to see Yezbeth hopefully see Yezbeth really shine on this away mission, and then we can follow that through, to solidifying that bond again and growing
Yeah.
that and get that promotion we've been talking about.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Either
Yeah.
that or she'll fail at a bunch of rolls and keep burning her hands again.
Yeah, I mean, that's the
Or
end of
Romulan
the
would
away
disintegrate.
mission. I wouldn't hold your breath that she does well.
So Evelyn, who would you? What's your who best embodied the character in your mind? Soup.
Soup.
Pumpkin soup.
There are a lot of little pieces that I really like. I don't know that anything like really stood out for me as like, oh my god, this was phenomenal. But also, I think that is less on anybody else and more on brain.
Right.
My coffee legit did not kick in until like 15 minutes ago, and now I'm awake and I can focus, and I need to go to bed. Yes, lots of tiny pieces stuck out.
Okay.
Teenage Mutant Ninja
Yeah,
Turtle
I'm-
for everyone.
Kendall, what did you see tonight? Who most stood out to you tonight?
Jisa. Because she, I don't know. I think there's something to go on with getting really frustrated when you're trying to do the right thing and leading into a different or continuing on a character arc that's pretty satisfying to see, even if it was a small part.
Yeah. I liked
Look,
that was
Jack Jisa has a lot of things that she's been wanting to get through that just we have not seen.
yeah. I
been
liked that it
building
was an
and building and building.
impromptu. It was an impromptu thing too. Like I really hadn't
Mhm.
planned on that being the complication, but I thought it was an interesting scene to do. And
Mhm.
I had every intention of killing that character off, but good rolls for the guys. That was pretty good.
I gotta stop trying to save people if I want them to die.
Where's the satisfaction from that?
But I'm like, yes, complication, give it to me, make it hurt more and more. And then you
Yeah.
guys saved him, damn it.
Yeah, that's the Star Trek answer though. Like it's really,
Yeah.
really close to dead, and then oh wait, they saved him. Okay, that's a good outcome.
And Jisa can have more or less the same reaction because it was like a hair away from him dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, where's my trauma?
I also
I
really
paid for trauma.
I see here's where the trauma comes in. Now you go to see the guy in the OR in the sick bay now that he's injured, and he's like, you ruined my career and blah blah blah. It's gonna be a scene right out of MASH.
Yeah. I give you all these thread to spend, Jeff. Come on, throw them back at me.
I got a combat coming up. I needed him.
I think he
Alright.
has great potential for a plotline we kind of touched on earlier. We'll talk about it more later.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it adds some potential future conflict. I think that's I like that he got saved too.
Damn it, Hotjaw.
I think we could skip a lot of these other ones because they're similar to what we've already done. What do you want to
You
see?
didn't ask me, though I've been talking a lot.
Oh yeah. What moments? Well, you said that you had the one. What moment stands out most to you? Who best exemplified the character? That's the one.
No, I was gonna say Tana. I'm throwing it back at Tana. I
Okay.
briefly I briefly mentioned that.
Yeah.
But no, I thought Tana was great with the energy in Medbay. Throwing it back at Ambrose during the conference room scene. Part of that was Jack forgetting that Tana had, was Bajoran resistance.
Right.
But I really liked the quick back and forth that was there. And I am really looking forward to seeing more Tana and more of that energy,
Yeah.
more of that personality.
I think
on this
forgetting
upcoming
that
mission.
she's from that she was in Bajoran Resistance is actually good
Yeah.
because here's a character who is a linguist and is not someone you would expect. She's a scientist, linguist, engineer, whatever.
Mhm.
She's not really someone you would expect to be a badass, and yet here she is reminding everyone,
Mhm.
"Get off my fucking toes! I'll
Yep.
shoot you," a la Jisa.
Mhm.
All for less reasons. I don't need as many reasons as Jisa.
I'm not gonna spoil them because it's not my place, but I'm looking at the focuses, values, and talents here on our little spreadsheet, and I'm looking forward to them.
Yeah. All right. What did you see from some other character or player tonight that you would like to see more of? What things would you like to see more of in the future? Obviously, we touched a little bit on some of those, but what do you guys want to see more of from each person? Or not from each person, but from somebody.
I just want to see more of this, Hotjaw. I'm not joking.
He's the one good-looking ensign around.
I'll have to find a picture of the character now. Anybody else have
him and
anything?
him and Lackey need to have like a hollow program to like go
They're-
play pool or something.
They are best friends and always hang out, but we'll never see it.
Right. And Kostra hates him, or Koba hates
Koba.
Hotjaw. Hates
Oh,
it.
of course he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's too chiseled. He works out
Clearly
more
he's
than
been
me.
worked on.
Hey, you just got Henry Cavill on this ship.
Yes. All right. That's it. Hotjaw is now Henry Cavill. I will get that photo. A la The Witcher, even like with the long hair and everything. Just sexy all around. Whew, now I'm warm. Anybody else have anything they'd want to see from any other characters? Any other scenes they'd like to see in the future? That kind of thing they'd like to see from other characters, or even from your own. Doesn't matter. Something you're looking forward to.
I mentioned it in like the chat over here, but with the talk of the orb experiences and orb adjacent experience that Ambrose had, I think that'd make a good conversation for him and Tana because she has.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
that could
Yeah.
be really interesting. Also,
Nice.
being a Bajoran ties some stuff
She
together.
is, because she is devout.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's a good point. I like that.
I think that'd be a great confidant for Ambrose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The conflict of interest makes it more interesting.
We'll have to work towards that.
I know the scene that I'm looking forward to is the first reunion between Ambrose and Toshari. I'm looking forward to that session. I picture it.
That's gonna be a whole thing.
I picture it being well, the original rescue. I actually picture like being the Death Star rescue when they find Leia and she's just like, I didn't need you to save me, but I'm glad you're here because now can we get that phaser from you. So I don't know how it's gonna play out, but I'm looking forward to seeing that. So anybody else got anything? All right.
I definitely want to see more Delphine telling Jisa just calm the F down. just cool it.
That was cute.
Delphine is gonna start smuggling Jesus some Ativan.
I was this close to like, do you need some sedatives?
Yep.
Stop yelling at those poor people. Just God.
Like, honey, your anxiety is showing.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. If you could change one thing about the session, what would it be other than just going longer? That one's cheap.
More.
That was really good.
Less soup brain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah.
I was having trouble breathing at first, like when we first started playing. I'm like, I would texted my wife. I'm like, I think I might die during this game. I think my time is up. It's over. And then I took the Zyrtec. I'm like, I'm fine. Pretty
Well,
sure
I'm
it's
glad-
the long COVID.
Glad you survived this session.
I
Yeah.
don't need you killing yourself for this stream.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like 2 weeks away from my 90-day being over, which means you're probably out of your immunity period. You'll probably just have COVID again.
Yeah,
Fine.
maybe. It's possible. RSV. I've had a lot of patients with RSV lately. So anybody else have anything they would change about this session if they could? No?
Aside from soup.
I think this
Only
was a great
small
one.
thing.
Go ahead, Brian.
I would have. I ended up liking the way the scene played out, but I will admit I was a little disappointed when like Jissa didn't like it wasn't her fighter that suffered the damage.
Sure.
I think that could have been interesting as well. And so, just because it's a little more, something happens to a guy we don't know, it's not as impactful as
Sure.
hitting a character we care about.
Right.
Now, I ultimately like the way the scene went, so I wouldn't change it if I could. But I don't know. That's just a thought I had.
Yeah, I thought about it, but the reasoning I went the other way was because we've come up with some other story I really want to see Jisa in, and the chance of killing off Jisa right there in what didn't really feel to me like a super important scene to begin with. I thought it was. I thought the exact same thing. It would be much better to do it with Jisa, be more heart wrenching if something happened. But in the end, I thought that, and like you said, I think the scene worked out really well the way it did. So,
I'm
absolutely
glad
agree.
you went that way.
Yeah.
Because Jisa, that's a Warhammer thing. But basically, she considers herself dead as soon as she hops in the
Right.
cockpit, and if she comes back out, cool. But I mean,
Jem'Hadar.
something bad happening to her. Yeah, I guess that's kind of Jem'Hadar. Yeah.
It's a trope.
But
It's a trope.
yeah, yeah. But I think it's definitely more impactful for the story, and definitely for her that something bad happened to somebody else, because she really cares about that. If she gets knocked out by an asteroid, well, she screwed up.
Well, we talked a little bit in chat, and I won't give any spoilers away, but we talked in chat a little bit about a future for Jisa, and I came up with an NPC concept and some dialogue bits that I really would like to throw at Jisa because of that conversation that we had there. And I think this scene will play well into that that line that came with before the game started, and really put a nail in her face.
Poor Jisa. It's just
100%. I think it ultimately worked out great.
Yeah.
I guess my only statement is more just I love it when bad things happen to our characters. And
Sure.
so,
Sure.
that's
It's more the drama.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like the emotional damage.
Yeah.
yeah. The emotional damage.
We'll have to run a game at L5R sometime. I will scar you all.
We love L5R.
I don't have anything else. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to add, comment, say, promote one last time, anything like that?
No.
All right. Well, with that said, then again, you can find me at all the places at Studio Tempo. You can find Jack all the places at the new name, which is RPGs Uncovered. Yep, which I think is a great name. Also,
way more to come in the new year.
Yeah.
So looking forward to all the stuff coming in the new year. Even though I took a little bit of hiatus, the channel's still going. So now's the time to jump on. Come January, we're going to hit the ground running. RPGs Uncovered.
Yeah. And there's a bunch more
Everywhere.
shows coming to Studio Tempo soon. We're working on a couple new shows. I am going to be back on continuing conversations more often, not every episode, but more frequently than I was. I really enjoyed the interview we had with the couple of Star Trek authors the last time around. That was a really good episode. That's available on Twitch right now. You can also catch it on YouTube or on anywhere fine podcasts are given away. We are available on Spotify. If you can find this show, you can find that show because they're on all the same networks: Spotify, Amazon, Google Play, iTunes, Pandora. We're everywhere. I also want to I really want to say thank you. This show just hit, I believe, 40,000 downloads yesterday morning, which is absolutely amazing. It is my now second most popular show I've ever done, and it's heading towards the most. So that's great. I love it. I'm so glad you guys listen to the show. I know it's primarily on podcasting, so you guys don't get to see a lot of the stuff we do. We have a lot of graphics and stuff that we use for this show. So feel free to check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Twitch as well. The episodes that come out on Twitch are currently about 2 to 3 weeks ahead of the episodes that people are getting on YouTube or on downloads. That's part of our being a Twitch affiliate now. I want to make sure that we have some exclusivity to Twitch, which is way more than they require, but whatever. Speaking of Twitch, we're going to start doing some challenges. Those are going to be out next episode. Look for those. It's going to be some giveaways and some stuff to be able to get a live Q&A with Jim Johnson and Michael Dismuke for continuing conversations. I don't have anything else. I want to say thank you to the cast as well, and check out St. Pete by Nights over at St. Pete by Nights on Twitch if you want to learn more. Also, Kent is going to be on one of my podcasts coming up soon, hopefully. More about that in the challenges. So I don't have anything else. So long and thanks for the fish. Live long and prosper, or whatever else you want to say. Have a good night. I forgot where my thing went. Hang on. Wait, there it
Good
is.
job.